Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work, hard work. Hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all know what it is. Y'all favorite bets on the net right now. And we got plenty to talk about. Or you know what it is. It's me, your man Trey, the commish. You got the people's coach, Cornelius Cole, all live and direct. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? What's good? What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm ready to get it.
It's been a plenty that's been popping off. Of course, it's been cold, so you ain't had no choice but to sit in and lick and listen to stuff. And then now, as it's starting to warm up, everything's starting to come out, including supposedly allegations and violations when it comes to a couple of college organizations, which happen to be in the Pac-12. Like, I thought it was all over. We can't seem to leave that stuff alone. Of course, University of Oregon, well, correction, no longer the Pac-12. The two teams that came from the Pac-12, however, University of Oregon, University of Colorado, Colorado having some minor infractions for what I understand. And then, of course, University of Oregon with what is supposedly supposed to be tampering. My first thing is, or my most direct thing is, how do they find this stuff out? Like, who is giving up the ghost of what's going on? And how is these people getting caught, in your opinion?
Somebody snitching. And somebody snitching. And nowadays people digging a little too deep. It's always, when these stories break, it's always somebody inside, right? It's always an inside job, somebody close to it. Which means a lot of times what happens, somebody didn't get their way, somebody didn't get a promotion, somebody didn't get what they expected they was going to get, or somebody felt like they was lied to. So now it's time to expose,
It's crazy. No honor amongst thieves, I reckon, and I guess. Were you able to catch last night? I know you keep a constant watch on college basketball. Were you able to catch the marquee matchup last night against the women's LSU and South Carolina game?
No, only the highlights, and it looked like it was a good game.
Yeah,
I missed
both coaches said that they was like, our teams didn't play exactly as we thought, but it was a close game. In any case, we kept them on their seats. Of course, in state, if you watch the game, South Carolina was able to walk away with the victory by the score of 76-73. The beloved Angel Reese ended up fouling out early in the second half, or fourth quarter, because they go 10-minute halves. In the fourth quarter, 10-minute quarter. So the fourth quarter, Angel Reese had fouled out already, and then, of course, everything was going to go follow on the teams. But South Carolina was able to walk them down, walk them in, to get the victory in what was a close and battle game.
Undefeated South Carolina. Undefeated.
That's why she get paid the big bucks. That's why
is that why Staley making herself known? You know what I mean? In the last few years, when you think about it.
I don't want anyone to feel a certain way when I say this, but Staley seems like she's the new Becky Hammond. She's going to be the next person that they're talking about. Oh, she deserves to be coaching on a higher level. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Will we see Staley? Will she continue to do the X's and O's for her teams, or will she get a shot at the pros, the WNBA, or will she get a shot at even the NBA? As you know, that type of diversity is starting to be rampant to where everyone's getting an opportunity. So will we see a potential chance for that to happen? Now that you think about it, do you think had Becky Hammond went to coach a team, a men's team, would she had the same type of success, or would she still be in the league right now?
Hey, look at Portland. They probably could have used her. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Is that she couldn't do no worse than what they current head coach doing. No, I mean I'm just saying.
Off Chauncey, man. You see the other day he got ejected. They was about to
Yeah.
they should have they were going to protest.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, she would have look at the Detroit Pits. I'm just saying, when you look at the landscape, why not? I just feel like it was opportunities that, yes, she probably could have done a little bit better than some of these current coaches doing right now. There's no knock against the coaches; they got the jobs. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if you ask me, you could have gave her a shot.
I mean, I guess rightfully so. Speaking of coaches, of course, we all know Coach Adrian Griffin's out in Milwaukee. Enter Coach Doc Rivers. I'm not going to say, because of course we don't want to tap another man's pockets. So we're not going to say, does he deserve to be? Well, I guess we're not talking about his pockets. He's looking at $40 million over the course of 2 years, $20 million a year for the most part. So we're not going to say, does he deserve that type of money? Does Doc Rivers, in your opinion, deserve to be a coach that swiftly after just losing his job and this coming about? Do you think it was a screw job? Like, what's your take on it? Especially when you take in consideration Griffin was winning. He had a winning record, second in the East, like third in the NBA. That's like, how do you get fired for that?
Sound like politics. You know, it's politics as usual. Sound like politics. Sound like the team didn't like him. If your star players and stuff don't like you, then you probably out of there. But it sounds like a lot of politics to me. I don't know, some of the other sources out there that I was looking at or whatever about that story. You know, some got the conspiracy in saying that Doc was consulting. So I don't know what's true or whatever. Saying that he was consulting and he may have put it in the ear, y'all ain't gonna win like that. And the next thing you know, he the coach. So I'm not gonna say that that's how Doc got the job, but I will say, Bucks, what are you thinking? I mean, I agree with you. I was disappointed in the Bucks organization for making a move like that when a dude got a winning record. Like, it's not like he losing. And what is Doc? So now you got to wonder, what is Doc going to do differently? They saying that they want to win right now. The Bucks organization came out. You know, they came out with a statement and said it was about them wanting to win right now. And I'm like, how are you not winning right now? So, you know, like, what does that mean for real? That's how you know it's like, there's some politics in there somewhere. We'll get the truth later on. But good for Doc, because I think he always wanted to coach. He just didn't get a job.
So even that, as he couldn't coach, coach fixes his stream. So even with that, like being said, like there was also rumors, as he said, that he did state that there was rumors in reference to their own franchise player, the franchise centerpiece, Giannis Antetokounmpo, wasn't too particular on Coach Griffin, saying he didn't like his coaching style and that he was, I guess, trying to say that basically he didn't have the ability to coach in state. It was start to put it into a perspective of where it was causing a problem, evidently. I know there was rumors and there had been footage shown about Giannis refusing to check out of the game when he was told to do so by his coach. And then, of course, additionally, I guess the blow off and Giannis running up his own plays on the sideline or running up his own plays in general. So it's like it became a whole thing where it's like this is damning to the organization. I know in the military we look at good order and discipline, and if it's someone or there's something that is not being conducive to presenting or showing us that everyone can be a united front, then or a unit, a cohesive unit, then that's a problem. There's always someone at the top. So when you start to have a situation where there's a lack of that, of course, that causes a problem. So no, like he was just saying, loss of quote unquote, as we hear a lot, the locker room, I guess. And I just look at it as leaders, especially in that environment. Where was Dame Lillard? Where was Chris Middleton? Like, did Giannis lead this coup, or what was going on? Because it was also rumored that he didn't believe in his his ability to coach. It's like so that makes things hard. We remember seeing Giannis sitting on the scorers table and refusing to come out supposedly, or on the sideline drawing up plays while because he didn't agree. Like, do you think again? Is this the era of the players run the league?
Pretty much, but you saw the players, man. They was dancing. They was dancing the other night with no coach, or whatever, with the coach fired or whatever. They was dancing on the court like as a team in like a circle, like almost like some ding dong the witch is gone type dancing or something, man. I don't know, like, but really it's the player. I think some of it is the way the coach communicates with a team, and then the players' attitudes, you know what I mean, towards that particular coach. Man, if they don't like your background, you're not gonna stand a chance. You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, for me, it's more than just losing the locker room too. It's what you do on the court and how you spread the minutes and how you use. We saw several of them. Bobby Portis had a problem with, Bobby Portis had a problem at one point. Giannis had a problem at one point. And the team speaking out like that, like against you, it really hurts. Like, I feel bad for Adrian Griffin because it was his first opportunity to be a head coach, and that didn't go over well at all. Like, but I was gonna say moving forward, Bucks got to do better than that. I'm starting to jump on those that's disappointed in the whole Giannis thing, because that's, when you think about it, since Giannis been there, this is like the third coach gone, or third or fourth coach out of there, man. So what does that say about your star player that this keeps happening?
Been 3 players: Jason Kidd,
Budenholzer, what was the name?
Now Griffin, and now they're with Doc. So you know what? I think it also goes back. If you think about it, there has to be someone listening, right? And to make that move, it is even the GM, or it's the basketball president, or the owner for that most part. So there has to be some level of buy-in from those people in those positions to go and make that move. So it's like, as a coach, what do you like at that organization alone? What coach wants to go there for the most part when that has been happening? Like, if the players start saying something, are they going to come to the coach and say, or is it something that which is just basically like, okay, I see it too, and it just makes it? I mean, if you're the owner of the team, then it's like, it's on you. It's your investment. It's your squad. You do what you're going to do. But for Coach Griffin, like, you look at, like we were just saying, he was second in the East, third in the NBA. Like, how does that get you fired? And it's like, because the players come and say, this is like, where is the backing of the organization for the most part to this person who's supposed to be leading your organization to championships and into the future and all that type of stuff. So it's like, what does that convey to you? Like, would you want to go coach there?
No, because but if you Doc Rivers, you see why you go there. It's a chance to win another championship if you Doc Rivers, right? Get into that multiple championship thing. But if you're a new coach coming in, that's a rough job to have. Or if if you're a coach that needs to build up your reputation, yeah, the Bucks probably not for you. Which is what we saw what happened with Griffin right now. Is that it's not for you because they asking coaches, man, they got rid of a coach that they won the championship with, and you don't even understand. I didn't even understand that move. Like, why coach Bud out? Like, didn't understand the part of the ways. But I think you do start to understand. You start to understand that we know who running that organization, and yeah, it is the players. When the players can go straight to the owner, it reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, as long as you can circumvent the coach and the staff and go right to upper management and the owners and stuff like that, then the players are always going to win. But we know that Milwaukee has done everything to give Giannis exactly what he wants. And I got this little joke. I guarantee you, part of Griffin's problem with Giannis is the fact that, your brother on the team and don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let's get rid of him and let's get some players. So I want to see how Doc managed that.
I seen the clip about Thanos, and he was trash. I was like, yo, this dude, man, is playing amateur level, and he's got a whole NBA uniform on.
I'm just saying.
State he's a champion.
I'm just saying, like, it's a joke, but for real, when you think about it, that might have something to do with it. For real, Giannis. I'm just saying, Giannis and his approach to, like he brought him a championship there, but one man didn't do it by itself. So the owners always had to think of that. Like, do you want to win more championships? You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna win. It's been proven that you're not gonna win like that when the players can have some say, but when they have too much say, then what happens? You don't typically win.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, last night there was a total of 7 games that went on. One being the 76ers knocking off taking the L to the Indiana Pacers by the score of 134 to 122. Utah Jazz was able to dispatch the Washington Wizards 123 to 108. The Timberwolves in the close game was able to pull it out by the score of 96 to 94 over the Brooklyn Nets.
Retro game right there. Retro. That's a throwback.
Celtics,
it's score only.
Yeah, Boston Celtics, which we're going to touch that in a second. Boston Celtics was able to handily take care of business in Miami as they go away with the victory, 143 to 110. We know a trade was just done with that, sending Kyle Lowry and a draft pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Terry Rozier. The Denver Nuggets were smacked up, flipped, and rubbed down by the New York Knicks by a score of 122 to 84. Sacramento Kings in the close one, 134 to 133. For the third time in this season, they have won it has been a 1 point that has separated the two teams when it came to victory. And then last but not least, the Los Angeles Lakers, 141 to 132 over the Chicago Bulls. So as we see, everything which you talked about. What's going on, Leslie? Glad to have your information with us this morning, brother. As we see, all except for the 96-94 game, huge scoring outputs. 34 point in-state for one team, 43 for another, 34 for one within a 133 game, 141 and 132 in another. And then, of course, a 38-point drubbing when it comes to the Knicks and Nuggets joint. Are you more a favor of the defensive stalwart games, 96 to 94, which is maybe defense or just some bad shooting, or the all-out high scoring 256 points in the game type thing? Which one are you more so particular to?
I'm right in the middle. I mean, get your points, but play defense. And I used to love defense. Don't get me wrong, but now you got better shooters. The spacing on the court is way different, man. And with the defenses, we see that in the two favorite sports that we put up there. Right, it's the same in the NFL. The defense, they cater more to the offense than defense. You see that in NBA games, the disparities in teams in the free throw shooting. You know what I mean? But yeah, but it's got a shooters in the name too. Though you gotta. I was just looking at that. I was looking at. 10 years ago, the league average was like 37, 38 field goal percentage per team, right? By the league average. But now it's up to 42%. Like, it's just better shooters. You know what I mean? Like, you got better shooters now. So it's going to be harder to guard when they don't allow you to play defense, so to speak. In the college game, they can still put a body on you and stuff like that. You can't body up in the NBA no more. I'm not going to even say hand check. You can't really body up without it being a foul. You know what I mean? So it's hard to stay in front of your man when you can't really do nothing. Like, if you slide in front of it, it's a foul. So, it's just the rules right now, the way they call the game to me. And if you can play defense, more power to you. But we know that now in the playoffs, they're going to switch that a little bit and you'll be able to play a little bit more physical defense. But in the regular season, I think you're just going to get what you're going to get because, the scores get outrageous. But do you see the field goal percentage of these dudes dropping 60, 70, 50, 40 points? Do you see the field goal percentage? Like, I'm looking at dudes. Some dude went 11, hit all 11 of his shots the other night. You know what I mean? So look at the efficiency of the shooting. Like, every time you look up, it's 11. You know what I'm saying? It's people shooting outrageous percentages, 10 for 18. You got to look at it, 17 for 21 and stuff like that. Like these are field goals. These are not free throws. These are field goal percentages within games. So, yeah, I think it's better shooting, and I think defense is just not huge on the list right now.
Of course, for the most part. So, looking at this, right, and I agree. Like who was that? Just Leslie was just saying how that used to be the norm to see a 90-point game, and see that. Coach Paris is in the comments. Glad to see you here, Coach. Teams don't honestly have defensive schemes until the playoffs. So it's like it's all a free fall. But as we say, I know I say it and I live by it. Defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. So do you agree with what Coach Paris is basically saying in a sense? Like you're going to see this type of scoring output currently now until we get closer and closer to where it's time to lockdown procedures and teams to start coasting or start doing what they got to do to put themselves in position.
Yeah, you're going to see it. We saw it last year. We're going to see it this year. Defense will be played until they have to play it in the playoffs.
So in Washington, Coach Wes Unseld Jr. is out. They have elevated Brian Keefe to the coaching position. Another, you know what I'm saying, coaching carousels everywhere. With that being said, it wasn't great. The Wizards ended up dropping their 6th game with Coach Keefe taking over in his debut. I don't know what to say. Is this a microcosm of what we're talking about? Like teams is just running rampant and running amok and taking care and running over people? Or what happened to giving our coach an opportunity to make his team better? Like we was just talking with Adrian Griffin. Adrian Griffin doesn't get that chance now. He went out with a winning record. At this point, he had a winning record. What is, you know, saying, I think 65 or 50 some 67, 62% or something like that as a head coach. But he was ousted in the first 42 games of a season. Like, where do you go from there? How do you come back from that potentially? It takes from, like we were just saying, takes for a front office or some executives to basically be like, we're going to give him a chance because they didn't give him a chance in Milwaukee. Do you think Adrian Griffin gets another chance at some point?
Man, he could hold his horses. The Charlotte job going to be open soon enough. The job's going to be open.
Atlanta's going to be open at the end of the year. I mean,
I'm just saying he'll have an opportunity with one of those teams. But the Unseld Jr. thing, man, come on, man, that's laughable. He did coach a few years, like 2.5 years or something. You know, they didn't cut him short now, but they promoted him. He went to the front office. I mean, that's just tells you where the Wizards are right now. Maybe he'll do well in the front office. I don't know how well he's going to do in the front office, but I'm just saying, typically you don't go from losing on the court to the front office and all of a sudden you building a winner. I mean, I never heard of that, so maybe this is going to be the first time, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's going to be the first time, Trey, that something like that happened. You know, good for Keith. He get a chance to maybe try to flip that team, but I don't understand how you put that guy in the front. I mean, I'm just saying we know the Unseld family relation with that squad, but you know, maybe that's a little bit of what it is, you know, because his pops was so legendary that you get this opportunity. But like I say, typically I ain't never heard of that. You go from losing the head coach on the court and then to the front office. I just ain't heard that.
The wonders of the world of the NBA. So on to lighter stuff and just some stuff where we just some what ifs and basically now some perspective type stuff. The NBA has announced the All-Star starters for this couple of All-Star season that is going to be in Indiana this year, going down on February 18th, I think it is. So with that being said, of course, the starters being put out there. One particular starter has afforded himself to break a long-standing record when it comes to All-Star games, and that, of course, is none other than the man that everyone loves to hate for the most part, LeBron James, as he has been afforded his 20th All-Star game, breaking the record from our beloved Lou Alcindor, aka Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Longevity, key term in this case. Do you believe this is an amazing feat, in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, come on, 20 years, and then he's still averaging like 25 points, 26 points, whatever he averaged in the game. So you got to say he deserved it. It ain't like they just getting it to him. Like, he earned it. And plus, he popular with the fans, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still one of those that's still popular with the fans. I think he get the most fan votes every year. So, good for LeBron James. I think it's good for basketball too. I think it's good to say, man, hey, you can still ball at 20 years plus, because whatever 20-year plus hooper was still hooping like he hooping. I mean, so you got to give him some credit. I mean, I'm not a LeBron James when it comes to being on the court, but as far as being a player, man, the dude doing this thing, you got to give him that. I root against him, but man, you got to say the things that he doing, man, they look pretty good. Like, like, who's done it?
So with that being said, of course, now you have it to where the All-Stars have been announced, and then you see it in front of us currently. The starters for the East, Joel Embiid on his 7th All-Star nod as a start, then his 7th All-Star nod. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 8 All-Star nods. Tyrese Halliburton, 2, his 2nd. Damian Lillard, his 8th now in the East, on the East side, and Jason Tatum coming up now with his 5th All-Star vote. Of course, this is all by the fans. The fans get to speak in this aspect and put it in perspective. 2 years in, Halliburton, thinking about what is all going on in the East. Do you think that Halliburton is deserving of the starter, or is it just, saying the love of his I guess you could say his constituents that put him in that position? Of course, what it is why, but is it deserving to be the starter, named the starter?
Yeah, when the fans, me, I'm a diehard fan. So when the fans say you belong there, like, it's the fans. Like, at least it's people, for me, first time in a long time, is people that actually that's actually playing right now. Because a lot of times, fans, they just vote for their favorite, whether, what I'm saying? So I think they got it right this time. I'm not mad at it.
Okay, of course, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you look across the screen, across the court, the next up, of course, the West, none other 5-time Luka Doncic, 14-time Kevin Durant, his first time with the starting nod, 6-time Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 2 times. He's in the same boat as Halliburton. And last but not least, 20 times, 20X, LeBron James, captain as well. When you look at this team head to head with the East team, just the starters, is it even any competition?
Yeah, I think the starting lineups look more competitive, like than what they had been picking your friends or whatever. But those starting lineups look pretty good to me. I think that'll be good for the game. You watching Tatum, you'll watch Tatum match up with either LeBron or sometimes Kevin Durant or whatever, man. You're gonna see some good basketball. That Halliburton, it's gonna be cool to see Halliburton and Shai go at it, man. Shai and Tyrese going at it. That's gonna be interesting to see.
And as you were saying that, instantly I thought to myself, it looked like Luka is the mixed match in the X Factor just from the starting lineups alone. As I was listening and hearing you speak on, saying the potential different matchups. Who's holding Luka?
Oh, that's the thing. It's gonna be hard to hold all of them, but when you look at it, yeah, who gonna hold Luka? Like, you gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, judging by the starting lineups, you gonna have to do some mixing and matching, right? Like,
someone has to run a little zone. Yeah, someone's gonna be out of place. You can't Joel Embiid. Offensively, isn't going to be will probably give fits, but there's not going to be able to hold Luka from the defensive standpoint. He's getting lost and shook, which means someone has to collapse if Luka gets in the lane, and now there's kickouts or there's flashers that's coming. So, like you said, if Jason Tatum leaves him, now Durant is a problem. Like it's going to be interesting, just as you were saying. So now it's going to be interesting to find out or know now, as the coaches are going to have to be the ones to go ahead and come forth. As we know, the Minnesota head coach is going to be coaching the All-Star game, and of course, the Boston head coach will be coaching for the East. I think the table was set to be different when they went ahead and went back to the aspect of East versus West. That's going to be the game changer. I see earlier Leslie was like, it's interesting that I'm not LeBron James, that Steph Curry isn't a starter, but we all know Steph Curry is going to be on the squad for the most part. Not a single Clipper was a starter, but we could presume that there's going to be at least two of them that's going to be on the squad, possibly. Maybe, I don't know. We still don't see the likes of Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox. What's some other players that we know that's out there that's putting in the work right now? Anthony Edwards. So it's still a bunch of people to be put together that's going to probably really have going to strengthen these teams and make it a whole problem at the end state. So of course that's
in the East. Jalen Brunson, he should be on that squad. He should be on the East bench, coming off the East bench. Like, he was projected to be a starter, but the fans speak, man. The fans speak volumes. So no shade to Steph, but I think it's changing. It's changing of the guards. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, LeBron James, 20 years. Everybody else, everybody else under 10 years. Some of them ain't been in the league 10 years, but everybody else under a certain amount of years when you look at it, which is rare. So you going younger. Like the fans are getting younger, and the younger fans, they getting who they want to see.
So another point of emphasis, the pool for the NBA's Olympic laden team, the Team USA for basketball was released the other day, right? And there was a post that we had in which asked the question based off of what was put in front of us, who would you select for you as your squad, right? So here right now we can have a conversation based on the team. Shout out to Basketball Forever for giving coming up with this Team USA pool over, I think, 50 players or something like that, close to that. You got Bam Adebayo, Jared Allen, Paolo Banchero, Desmond Bain, Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, just mentioned, Jimmy Butler, Alex Caruso, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, De'Aaron Fox, Paul George, Aaron Gordon, Tyrese Halliburton, LeBron James, Brandon Ingram, Chet Holmgren, Drew Holiday, Tyler Hero, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Duncan Robinson, James Harden, Derek White, Trae Young, Bobby Portis, Cam Johnson, Chris Paul, Walker Kessler. With that being said, at minimum, who's your top 7? And we're not going to even do a whole 12. If y'all wanted to sit up and give a whole 12, go ahead, go to the post. I'll probably actually give my 12 later on today. And then, of course, people will caveat. But here right now, what 7 are you looking at to sit up and be to push that? An 8-man rotation. What 8-man rotation would you be going with right now to go that? Your starting 5 and then 3 rotations.
And we trying to win gold, man.
Gold is the goal.
Some of those names, probably wouldn't show up. But anytime you could put anytime you could put a Steph Curry on the team, I would put the Tatum. I would take Tatum. I would take Curry, Tatum. If Embiid's gonna play for the US, I'd take Embiid. You know what I mean? Like I would take Embiid over Anthony Davis just because of health wise or whatever. I would take So that's 3. Devin Booker, I would put him on the squad. We looking. I would take. I mean, if LeBron wants to play, then you got to take him. You got to take LeBron because I think LeBron would be the wow factor, like how Mike was on the Dream Team. Like the opponents was just the competition was just too much awe to really want to, I'm not saying they didn't compete, but to really compete at a high level. So that's 4 or 5 right there. I would take, I'm trying to see who else was on that squad because I saw some other names on there. Man, it's tough from there, but I guess I'd take Kevin Durant because he can shoot. He'll shoot the lights out. So what's that? That's 5 right there, 5 or 6 right there. And then give me
you got Curry, Durant, LeBron, Embiid, and Booker. So just give me 3 more. So give me 3 more. So are those your starters? Are those your starters?
Anthony. Yeah, I would take Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
I would take Anthony Edwards. Give me
Jason Tatum too, right?
Yeah.
So that's 6. So Tatum, Durant, Curry, LeBron, Embiid, Edwards. Give me 2 more.
Yeah, the other 2 gonna be tough, man, because I like a lot of them. But give me I gotta take some young talent that's gonna get us buckets. So I take Paolo because he can do a little bit of everything. And then give me man, that's tough. I take De'Aaron Fox though. Give me Fox. I like Halliburton, but give me Fox.
Okay, I got you. So of course, like I said, it could be with this pool because you can probably not go go wrong. I mean, but is it a possibility to go wrong with this group? Is there a possibility to end up going wrong to where it's like, oh hell, this is like another failure for Team USA and Grant Hill, as we know he is the chairman for Team USA at this point? Would this be another? Is there anyone on here, any combination of teams to put together to where it would just be a complete and utter debacle, and it's not even worth the as they say, the price of tea in China?
Wait, yeah, it is. It's some players on that list that's not gonna go all out for you because they don't go all out already. So what I'm saying, when we talking the best basketball players in the world, but man, that some of them will let you down in a heartbeat. So yeah, you got to be careful who you pick. But I think Grant Hill, I agree with Leslie right there. As far as training gonna be the key, and I think Grant Hill will do a good job of putting together a team for those. Once the team's assembled, they'll do a good job of being ready. Because it's Grant Hill. Grant Hill was always ready, so I think they'll do a good job of being ready.
So as I say, if you follow me on social media, probably this afternoon, evening, I'm gonna have what I would have put together if I was Grant Hill. What we're picking up as a 12-man. You'd be fair to go ahead and tap in and speak on it. Pick your 12. You can post it on the page and show it. So when you see it, just go ahead and chime in, put it together, talk about my 12, gold, silver, because I have say hashtag gold, silver, or bronze, or eliminated for the most part with the 12, in which I go with. So feel free, have your team ready to be posted as well. So interesting enough, right? Adonis and his Lillard. So I was checking out Gilbert Arenas, and I came across an interesting stat in which he talked about, right? So what Gilbert Arenas spoke about is how everyone talks about LeBron and records and keep on elevating Michael Jordan to the GOAT. And then what Gilbert Arenas posted is there's a record in which Michael Jordan has that probably will not be broken anytime soon. Do you know what record that is?
No. Other than his championship record, other than his playoff points per game records and stuff like that, I can't even think. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he averaged the most points per game as a player, regular season and postseason, right?
Correct. So this record in which Gilbert Arenas pointed out that Michael Jordan will probably never get broken is that 13 consecutive seasons, Michael Jordan led the league in the most missed field goals in the NBA. Michael Jordan holds the record for the most missed field goals in the NBA. So he's like, there's a story. He's like, this whole story isn't being told when we speak on Michael Jordan, in which he broke it down, in which 13 seasons, every season he was number one with the most missed field goals. It's an essence to where one season he missed a total of 1,181 field goals in that season. That was the 1986-87 season. I think was so. Is there? I mean, I guess you got to think of it as a volume shooter, like you just said. He led the league a few times, 11 times or something like that, as the scoring leader. But is that impressive when you put up a lot of shots? If you're a volume shooter, in your opinion,
If I shoot the most, who gonna have the most miss? Who gonna have the most misses? If I shoot the most. If I shoot the most every season, who gonna have the most miss? Who gonna have the most misses? You know, I mean, it's just, for me, it's just simple math right there. That's just real simple math. Like, nobody probably shot the ball more. We know Jordan dominated the basketball. He took most of the shots. You talk about a guy he scored 63 in a losing playoff game. But how many shots did he shoot? Like, he shot almost 50 shots in that game, right? Like, he shot like a lot of shots. Like, he took a lot of shots. So, so what do you expect? And it's like my man Don saying right there, look, Kobe had, the most misses in history. The most misses in history. So when you talk about it, what do they both have in common? They shot the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So it's no misunderstandings there. It's just that I think what Gilbert is overall saying is that we paint Michael Jordan as this mythical creature, right? But I think he was just saying he was just human like everybody else, and he didn't make every shot like the way sometimes he painted, and But think about it. So Jordan took a lot of shots and he missed a lot of shots. That's gonna happen.
yes.
That's gonna happen. It's like Steph Curry, right? Like we was talking about that one time. Steph Curry he probably gonna have the most makes ever 3-point shooting, but he gonna have the most misses also. He already leading in misses, right? Like he gonna lead in the most misses too.
Because of the territory,
right?
So enough talk, right? Enough talk about the NBA. We're going to have to get into what everyone really wants to talk about. We are 3 games from ending the NFL's 2022-23 season. 23-24 season. Those 3 games, basically, he said we'll really say some crazy stuff. Those 3 games are coming in hot. Like, I'm very sure everyone is prepared and ready to see how it's gonna go down. So I'm not doing too much talking, right? Everyone know what it is on mine. You know what I'm saying? SF all day, bang bang Niner game. We know what it is. So when it comes down to me, but I try to keep it reserved.
Before we get into the NBA, I want to address these last couple of comments about the Gilbert Arenas and that right there. Think about all he's done, like MJ done in 13 years compared. I go hard at the paint because I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, but I always want to point this out. Like, where do you start? Like, LeBron James came in at 18 years old. Michael Jordan came in as a 21-year-old. He 3 years of college. You feel what I'm saying? I think that age and maturity and winning that national championship as a competitive from a competitive side gave Mike a little bit of an advantage. So I think sometimes when we look at stuff, we can't just say where they were in a career at those particular points, because when you look on one end, LeBron did what Mike didn't do. Like LeBron at 21, LeBron was in the championship. He was in the NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was in his rookie year. So you know what I'm saying? So I think when you start comparing some of the stuff, it's like, yeah, it's all cool, but you got to look at where they started too.
Yeah, it's always going to be a minuscule perspective and stuff. I mean, for the most part, the facts only go so far, because you got to take in consideration, like you tend to say, we was just talking about offense versus defense, the hand checking. They used to get physical back in that Michael Jordan era. It could any of these people in which you talk about, Steph Curry, LeBron James, or anyone. You know, actually, before I go back into, I'm tripping. I'm glad you paused you there for a second. Think about it, right? Going back into having that conversation, all these people in which we talk about, could they have done it then? We've had, in the last 2 to 3 years, we have 4 players put up 70 points, right? And I posted, I asked the question, that's why I paused and came back. Like, how safe is Kobe's 80 or Wilt's 100? Like, how safe are those records at this point? Like, in my opinion, had Klay Thompson not been taken out of the game in which he was taken out, we might not. Kobe's 80 would have failed a long time ago by Klay. In the third quarter, he was cooking already, and they took him out. And then so it's like he didn't play almost the majority of the fourth quarter. So, with that being said, like we talk about, there's a lot. Like, would these players have been able to do any of this had they been playing back in that era? Because we know, think about playing against the Pistons at that time. Who's scoring 70 points on the Pistons? Bad boy Pistons.
Exactly.
Ain't what's going.
You got to think. You got to think also, like, who's going, like Jordan dropped 63 on the Celtics, but you got to think about how he did it, man. He took a lot of punishment in that game. Like, the Celtics was the originators of hitting you with an elbow. So, and the Pistons just, like, those teams, the way that they played physically, and that's the difference. The huge difference in the game is, like I said, you can shoot now. Like, they let you get your shots off and stuff. You don't have to worry about being clothesline, unless you playing the Warriors every now and then you got to worry about that Draymond guy dragging you. But other than that, you don't have to worry about it team-wide against certain teams. So, yeah, but it's certain stuff that's going to happen in the league right now. I don't think, Curry, because of the way he shoot, I think he would have been effective, but I don't think he would have been as effective with the way that they roughhouse back in the days. Like, he a little light. I think Curry would have had to get his weight up in order to play in that game back then. That's why you have different eras.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Scott Skiles' 30 assists in the game is going to stay in a long time.
Yeah, nobody's talking about the Skiles 30 assist record. Like it's been there a long time. Yeah, that record has been there a long time when you think about it. I saw a couple of guys drop 20, 22,
22,
stuff like that.
20, yeah,
but not 30.
And then you got to think, even with that 30, it comes in. I mean, assist is a tandem thing. Like, assist has to be a duo. So if you ain't giving it to the right person or anything like that, you would think. Well, I guess not. I was about to say, you would think if a person is getting 70 points that, hey, someone's assist is going up, but I guess not, because if there is probably ISOs and all that type of stuff, which is going from there. So, but I would think if Joel Embiid gets 70 points, then someone has to have high numbers for. Excuse me, you have to have high numbers for their assists, but of course, not so much, right? So, but of course, I digress. Well, like I said, moving on into the NFL, as we were saying earlier, there has been a lot going on in the NFL. Some stuff surprising, maybe not. I don't know. I will sit up and get your take. The first take I want to get is, after all this has been, no, you know what? I'm not going to go there first. Let's start here first. Jim Harbaugh now the head coach for the Los Angeles Chargers. Are you not entertained by that? Are you ready to see what that's going to do?
Next year, if he's healthy, Justin Herbert is going to be top 3 quarterback in the league. We know what's about to happen. He's going to be top 3 quarterback, not top 5. He's going to be top 3 quarterback. Right there behind Mahomes, Jackson is going to be Justin Herbert next year. I'm talking about one season. The first season, watch the impact that Jim Harbaugh has on Justin Herbert alone. I'm not going to even say the rest of the team, just Justin Herbert. Former quarterback coming to be your coach, understanding the NFL game, been there and done that. I mean, this man we wouldn't even be talking about Colin Kaepernick if it wasn't for Jim Harbaugh. So I'm just saying he know what he's doing when it comes to quarterbacks, and you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a guy that went to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. You got to keep that in mind. And the reason why we as a people fought so hard for Colin Kaepernick, because we know that he had some ball in him, and you know, and we don't know everything that. But I'm just saying, remember, it was Jim Harbaugh. So I think he's gonna do the same thing with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert got a few more skills than Kaepernick had, than some of his other, you know, when he was in the pros, some of the other quarterbacks he had. But so that's what I'm saying. Justin Herbert gonna be 3. He gonna be the 3rd top quarterback in the league. Finally, LA go get their money's worth with the Justin Herbert.
Of course, Antonio Pierce, hired as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach, put him in position as we thought. We kind of seen that coming, but we wasn't for sure. Of course, when you have everybody out there. So Anthony Pierce now representing Raider Nation. The black hole is in full effect. Do we see a change in the Raiders this coming season, in your opinion?
A change as in what? Like, they got a lot of issues to address, man. They need a quarterback. I think Pierce gonna do all right, but I still look at them. What was they 7-10 this year? I look at them as being around between 7-10 and 9-8. I don't see them really making a leap, because you got too, like, they got too far to go. They got too far to go. Defensively, they need a whole lot. They're not competitive on the back end defensively enough to me. All you got is really like Max Crosby and whatever. I mean, I know that the effort was there, but you got to have some talent. Like, they don't have the talent. I know Pierce gonna bring the effort. He gonna get the most out of those players. We've seen that already, but sometimes that ain't enough. You got to get some talented people in the building before we start talking about it. You gonna be tough. First, you need a quarterback. Then you need some other pieces. You had a pretty good offense, but all those same pieces gonna be in place. And how effective they gonna be.
And like you said, true that in in-state, like, definitely they're in need of something, and that something is a quarterback at this point. I'm very sure O'Callahan isn't expected to be the starter. I wonder what they're going to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. Does he get released? Do they keep him on and try to run it back and take? And I would say, is Pierce going to give him opportunity? But he's one of the ones that continue with the benching of him. So it's like, where do you go from there when you have Garoppolo, who had just signed the deal? You have O'Callahan. Like, where's the next thing? They got rid of Carr. So it's like, what's next in any case? So, of course, we'll see what's going on there. In Carolina, Dave Canales, hired, former offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, served under Pete Carroll in Seattle. Does this move the needle for the Panthers, in your opinion?
I don't know, because they just made the move. I think, what's his name? They linebacker is GM now. Dan Morgan, I think that's his name, or whatever, is a GM now. So it depends on what they do and what they bring in. As far as the surround Bryce Young, that was my post. My post was, is this really gonna be it? Because I don't know if I mean, the Bucs offense wasn't all that great. I mean, he did all right with Baker Mayfield, but their offense wasn't all that great. I think they was middle of the pack offensively. They wasn't, so. But this is your head coach guy, so maybe they know something we don't. I can't believe these people though. Like, really, sometimes I don't understand. Like I get it. the blueprints are different for each coach, and your path is different. But I think it was a better name than Canales in that job, in that role. You needed to make a splash, and you didn't make a splash.
What about this for a splash or none that their lack of? Bill Callahan, from offensive coordinator from the Cincinnati Bengals to head coach for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, you replaced Vrabel with that guy. I mean, I'm just saying, you go from Vrabel, tough, I don't know, to go like Tennessee to go to unproven. It's definitely one of those things where Vrabel probably should have still been there. And I think Tennessee gonna regret whatever move they make anyway, because you got to potentially start all the way over. Your quarterback situation ain't 100. What you gonna do with Tannehill? What you gonna, like, is Levis gonna be your quarterback? Like, moving, they got a lot of questions to answer. What you gonna do with Derrick Henry? Are you gonna try to keep Derrick Henry, or is that it? I mean, you got a lot of questions. Your receivers are your number one receiver getting older. I'm not gonna say he can't play, but you might want to start looking at another number one receiver. I mean, it's a lot of stuff it's too many questions for a coach to go in there. And I think sometimes when you gamble on a coach that ain't proven, it could backfire in certain situations,
Now, per the report via ESPN, it was stated that he is actually looking forward to working with Levis. So the expectation is that Levis is going to be there, and that's going to be the person that they're going to go with. The expectation is that they're going to continue to be physical, because that has been the Titans' staple for many years. So they're going to be physical, but they're going to have to probably be physical without Derrick Henry, as the expectancy is that he's gone and won't be coming back in 2024. And then, of course, speaking on DeAndre Hopkins as their number one receiver, they stated that he wasn't enough for the most part. So with that being said, they're going to probably, the expectancy is that Rand Cartham, their GM, is going to probably try to move move him to bring in some capital, so that way they can better outfit the team. So all that being said, is it they're banking on Callahan putting some of that magic together of what he used to help build Joe Burrow, and that's the expectancy that he's going to be eccentric in helping that to turn Levis into more of an imposing force on the football field. I don't know. Levis, to me, wasn't the dude. No different than Malik Willis wasn't the dude, but I don't know. That being said, where do you think Henry might end up? Well, you know what? Don't worry about that. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna definitely come back to that. And of course, last but not least, I think Donovan said it. Raheem Morris goes from being an interim head coach from the Atlanta Falcons to being a coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. Now he's back in Atlanta. Is this a good fit in your opinion?
It was either him or Belichick, and I'm assuming, I think it's good for him to finally get a shot, or to get his name. The last few years they've been talking Raheem Morris, so it's good for him to get a shot. I think that's a better fit in Atlanta. Now, I'm greedy. If I wanted to win, I probably. But what does that say about Belichick, though? You know what I'm saying? You get 2 interviews in Atlanta, and you can't close the deal as Bill Belichick. So that means that either Belichick is real stubborn, or they didn't like his coaching staff, or they didn't like, or they asked him what you gonna do in certain situations. And Bill, they probably didn't like the answers that Bill had, right? And they probably like what Morris had to say. That, hey, this is a young team. We just gotta put it together, no matter who the quarterback is, right? Like, Bill probably wanted to bring in a bunch of old people, from his New England days, and it's like, nah. And then it's how you work well with others, even the coaches, right? Like, it's got to be hard for Bill, knowing that it's no job out there like the one he had in New England. All these other teams got GMs. Like, in order to bring Bill in, you might have to fire a GM, and I don't see no teams doing that just to accommodate him, right? Or to get him what he want in a big picture. So can Bill come in and be? Is Bill a team player? But we know Morris, he deserved that shot, and I think he'll do well with Atlanta. They won't be a Super Bowl team, but they'll be competitive. They'll be competing for the NFC South.
So currently, going forward, there's still 2 coaching jobs out there: Seattle and the Washington Commanders. Do you think Bill Belichick is potentially can be able to pull down either one of those?
The way it's looking, no. I mean, if you Seattle, when I thought about Seattle trade, this is what I thought. Why get rid of one 70-year-old man for another? I don't just see that happening. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see that happening. So the Commanders with the new ownership and and all this stuff, they may give Belichick a look, but I don't really think he got a shot there. I think it goes back to what I said early on in the season. Like it may be time for Bill Belichick to go fishing, man. I mean, the writing's on the wall. I don't think no team want his philosophy right now. It's not that he can't build a winner. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not tripping either way, but I think Seattle, that's definitely a no-go. But I think his only shot would be the Commanders.
As Donald just said, Bill Belichick and Magic Johnson are pretty good friends. As you know, Magic Johnson is a part of that ownership group. But of course, they did bring in someone to help with that look. So it could be a situation to where maybe, like you said, Bill doesn't, for the simple fact of maybe time has passed him by, and the only security he had was the equity he built up with those championships in New England. But that is gone too. They both decided to part ways. And so there you have it there.
If they can keep Bieniemy and bring Bill in, they might have a winner. Because he needs somebody that can do offense, man. He can coach defense all day, but we saw his struggles and his offensive decision-making has not been that great in the latter years. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been that great.
And what's interesting is it says supposedly Bieniemy he's only interviewed for one position so far, and that was the one of his own. So wouldn't that be a smack in the face to be an offensive coordinator at or where you are? Well, I guess not when you look at it. If you depending on what your offense did in general, is like, why would I make you the head coach?
Well, I can't argue with the whole Bieniemy thing. Like, I was outraged a little while that he wasn't really getting looks, but now you got to start to think, man, there's something there that that's not clicking with these owners or GMs when he go to interview. You know what I mean? Because he had so many one while and now he got less. I mean, and ain't it odd that he took a lateral move? Like when he left,
no choice.
What I'm saying, when he left Kansas City, he took a lateral move. Like normally, you go somewhere with, it wasn't, what I'm saying is that it wasn't written in his contract that if this guy's out, I'm in, when he made that move.
So probably not. So one thing that definitely was sure what was written in the contract is him leaving from Kansas City. He only came back to Kansas City for 1 year. And that's what we talked about the other day, is that he was the offensive coordinator for a Super Bowl team, and he left the Super Bowl team as offensive coordinator to go take over offensive coordinator for another institution because he was expected to leave anyway, regardless, because remember he had interviewed for some teams the year before. None of those teams picked him. He came back. Andy Reid took him back on the 1 year, and the expectancy is that he was going to leave or he's going to be without a job. So he had to, for the most part, take that position in Washington, or he would have been out the NFL. So now you're looking at it to where he's probably going to be in the same position again, because unless whoever gets the job decides, I want to keep you on.
Well, I think, man, I'm gonna put it this way: if Bieniemy's open, he got a job as an offensive coordinator, The Eagles, you saw what the Eagles did. They swooped up, what's his name? The defensive coordinator, Fangio, I think. You saw how they swooped him up so quick. That didn't last long. So I think if the enemy hit the market, the Eagles come in knocking real fast. They're gonna start knocking.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be that quick. Yeah, somebody like the Eagles, like they'll pick them up real fast. Like let it drop, boom, he there.
They did not surprise Leslie.
They was 9-8.
I wasn't.
They was
I
9.
wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was. I was thinking that they was, but it wasn't surprising either. It was a toss up. It was a toss up league. With this be crazy Bill jersey takes the Michigan job.
I don't know. I can't see Bill coaching college. After all years in the pros, I can't see him going. He ain't gonna catch Brady that way. He ain't gonna tie Brady. He ain't gonna get number 7 in college. So I don't really see that. And we know that's the writing on the wall for him, right? Getting the 7th Super Bowl. I don't see him going from playing for Super Bowls, chasing Super Bowls to national national championship. I just don't see that in his DNA. But life is full of surprises.
It is, and just in that surprise, just like that, the AP, the Associated Press released their finalists for 2 awards, and 2 being the Offensive Player of the Year and the Most Valuable Player of the Year, in which in both categories, 3 players are in both categories. What 3 players are that, you ask? Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott are both finalists for the MVP award and finalists for the Offensive Player of the Year award. To close out the MVP, the other 2 players are Josh Allen and Brock Purdy. And to close out the Offensive Player of the award, the last 2 players is Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. So, no bias whatsoever. For me, as I stated already, I feel that Brock Purdy, I feel that Christian McCaffrey is the MVP. That's just my feeling. He's the MVP. If he doesn't get MVP, then I think he is a clear winner for most outstanding player of the year, just based off the fact of him being being in the MVP race. And then or it could go vice versa for him and Lamar, like if that's the case. But if I was to put it, my top 3 choices in no particular order, because you already know who I like to see as the MVP. My top 3 for most valuable player are Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, and then after that is for the most offensive player is Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, and CeeDee Lamb for offensive player, which is kind of Brock Purdy, same thing. That would be it for me. Leslie says Tyreek Hill and Lamar Jackson.
I don't know. I can't take your word on unbiased opinions because I agree Lamar Jackson going to be the MVP. I mean, I like what Christian McCaffrey did. I think he had 21 total touchdowns, 22 total touchdowns or something like that. 17 rushing or something, and then another 4 or 5 passing or whatever. I mean, I know he did all that, but come on, man. Like, the bar is low right now for running backs in the league, man. This dude, remember back in the days, you had to run for 1,600 to be MVP. He 1,400 yards, Trey, rushing. That's not, I mean, dude, Barry Sanders rolling over. Like, I got 15 rolling out of bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm just saying, man, and that ain't even a touchdown record. LaDainian Tomlinson had like 28 touchdowns in the season. I mean, I'm saying, so when we start looking at it, McCaffrey meant a lot to the 49ers, but really, is that what we measuring it by? So is that all we, Lamar Jackson meant a lot to his team?
So Chris McCaffrey did. He was Chris McCaffrey's 272 carries for 1,459 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 5.5 yards per carry. is his stat line, right? So I don't dispute that, but like I said, so what we cannot do, I think it's unfair to sit up and give Lamar Jackson. Well, I say this. I think it's unfair to give Lamar Jackson the Offensive Player of the Year award when statistically speaking, Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott were better than him.
Well, you talking Offensive Player of the Year? I was talking MVP.
No, you're talking about MVP. That's why I was about to speak MVP, but I was like, first, let me say this. I think it's unfair to give him when you look at it from a quarterback standpoint. Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott's were better than him statistically. So with that being statistically, that's where I think he doesn't get that award statistically based on that. Is even Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, or again Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey was creme de la creme for the running backs this year. Now, speaking from an aspect of most valuable player, it is a regular season award. So during the regular season, are we saying that Lamar Jackson was clearly and clear cut above Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Josh Allen?
As far as MVP, we know how this works. We know how the game works. He's a quarterback. He checked all the boxes. One, he's a quarterback. Then two, he was on the best team in the league. I mean, for real. And take him off that team without McCaffrey, you guys are still able to win some games without McCaffrey. You know, because then y'all, whatever, without McCaffrey, they have no shot of winning. We saw what they do in the playoffs every year without Lamar Jackson when he hurt. We saw what he meant to that team. Take Lamar Jackson off that team. Do they win any games? What's their record? What's Baltimore's record without him, period? You know, without his running ability, without the things that he did. You know what I'm saying? You just got to think about the impact that he have on that squad solely. If you take McCaffrey off the 49ers, since you got an unbiased opinion, how many games do y'all win without him? Without McCaffrey?
We probably dropped 2 other games, maybe.
No,
because you got to think.
On, man. What was y'all record before y'all got McCaffrey? Y'all had Garoppolo.
Yeah, but we wasn't bad either because we was running back by committee. We had
Monster. But y'all was still 13-3.
Yeah, we wasn't bad. We had Monster, we had Elijah Mitchell, so we was a running back by committee. You had Jeff Wilson Jr. We was a running back by committee. So enter this dude. Don't worry, you came just in time there, Nate. But yeah, so we was a running back by committee. So I get what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying. And then so as you were saying it, as I was thinking, I started thinking like, yeah, maybe McCaffrey is the offensive player of the year. But then it goes to now when you talk, it becomes the quarterback's race. Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson. Who was more valuable? Like, what could Josh Allen and company had got back to the second seed in the AFC? I mean, could the Bulls have got back to the second seed without Josh Allen? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a fair. Like if they came from obscurity, they was like phoenixes out that joint. So, you know what I'm saying? That has to be running as so I start to look at that like Josh Allen did what he needed to do.
Here's my Josh Allen problem. This is why I'm going with Lamar Jackson. You can eliminate them all by the process, right? Like the Bills didn't get cooking until they started running the ball with Cook. You know what I mean? It really had nothing to do with what Josh Allen didn't change his philosophy. They just started running the ball. They ran the ball more, and that helped their offense out. So that's taking the ball out of Josh Allen's hand and not putting it in his hand. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I would eliminate. You know, that's why I would eliminate him. You know, okay. And then if you go Dak Prescott, then let's face it, we would have won 12-5 with Cooper Rush as our quarterback. I mean, that's why you can't count.
Trey Lance.
I mean, I'm just saying we was gonna be 12-5. I mean, we see the standard of what Mike McCarthy. Okay, 11-6, but we was still gonna be right there, somewhere around there with the same record with or without that. So that's why. But man, we already know the Ravens can't win without Lamar Jackson. I mean, so that's why he's gonna be the MVP. When you put it all on the line, they went 14-3 in the regular season. Which is that's cool, but I'm just saying they can't win without that guy. Period. But it's good.
San Francisco had one without
Brock. What we seen him do it in the past. We seen it last year. Last year, Shanahan won with 4 quarterbacks, like 3 different throughout the season. He won with 4 different quarterbacks. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm just saying,
we lost without Brock.
Well, y'all lost the most important games, but during the we talking regular season. The MVP is for regular season, so y'all still had a great regular season. I mean, y'all still had a great regular season, despite whatever. Remember, Brock Purdy blew up at the end, so yeah, I think y'all would still be successful. I think Shanahan has proved he could be successful with any quarterback in the regular season.
Maybe Lamar is a MVP yet again. I don't know. Maybe, we don't know. We'll see. What do you say? Yes, it's a system.
Right.
Mahomes, the Chiefs are set without Mahomes. The team is depleted on the offense without him, willing them to win. We're going to see, of course, coming up. It's definitely going to be.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a huge Mahomes fan. So just to say that to Nate, I'm a huge Mahomes fan, but I don't think he deserved MVP this year. I think they got it right. I think they got it right without Mahomes this year. Even though we know he gonna be, we see it in the postseason, he's still that dude. But I think as far as regular season, his numbers was down. It's not his fault all the way around. All his receivers was dropping a lot of balls. I mean, he can't go catch the ball for him. But at the same time, I think they got it right this time with no Mahomes. But he'll be back another year. You know that already.
So of course, from the defensive standpoint, defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year finalists, of course, Michael Parsons, Deron Bland, Max Crosby, T.J. Watt, and Myles Garrett. In that quintet, who you think will walk away with defensive player of the year?
I think it's gonna be like I would like to see Bland because he set a record, and I think that's what it should be about, like record-breaking stuff. But T.J. Watt, man, 19 sacks, and then he missed some games, and he was still. I mean, think about it. Them other ones, Myles Garrett, he slowed down. Michael Parsons slowed down. So for me, it's a toss-up between Bland and T.J. Watt. And if you go, maybe you might have Cole. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you might have Cole, right? You might have Cole. Like they had Cole MVPs that year with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair because they didn't want to give it to Steve McNair on his own. Maybe you have Cole. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you have Cole MVPs. You know what I'm saying? Which is a rarity. I mean, Cole defensive players of the year. But I think Bland is the most deserving, if not T.J. Watt.
I'm trying to see it, right? I'm trying to see it. Bland got cooked any other time, right?
But he set a record. Come on, man.
He set
5 pick sixes in a season. He led the league in interceptions. That's the other part we're leaving off. He led the league in interceptions.
9 interceptions. 5 of the 9 were pick sixes. He accounted for 30 points of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't see it.
I mean, he led the league in interceptions, and I mean, setting that record is impressive. The reason why I didn't go with Parks or Garrett is because those two, they my least favorite on the list because they stopped at 14 sacks. It's 17 games. I mean, you stopped at 14 sacks. I like what Max Crosby did, but I think Max Crosby, you know, like I said, those my two.
Beginning of the year, but like you said, true enough, in-state, T.J. Watt, 19 sacks after missing.
And how many games did he miss?
Yeah, he missed a couple of games. Yeah, and just be the only. I mean, not taking anything away from Hightower, but to be the most polarizing person on that defense, on that line, and you still get 19 sacks to lead the NFL with missed time. It should be T.J. Watt. As Donovan say that, of course you say that, Donovan, it's your squad. But Nate says T.J. Watt would stop getting hurt. He would do it every year. Garrett, but he wouldn't be mad at Garrett beat out Watt.
But is that a thing for the Watts brothers though? Because I felt the same way about JJ, right? If JJ was healthy every year in his prime, he would have won Defensive Player of the Year hands down, right?
Mm-hmm. On the other side of the spectrum, rookies of the years. First, starting off with defensive rookie of the year, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle for the Eagles. The Rams defensive mind, Kobe Turner, Devon Witherspoon from the Seahawks, Joey Porter Jr., cornerback for the Steelers. Of course, I'm very sure Donovan's going to say something in the comments. And, of course, Will Anderson Jr. for the Houston Texans. Who are you giving the defensive rookie of the year to?
I like what Will Anderson did, and but I like the secondary too. So Sauce Gardner got it last year. Joey Porter, man. I think he matured a lot throughout the season, and you wasn't really getting much on him. You ain't talking like you saying Bland was getting cooked. You didn't really hear about Porter getting cooked all that much. But he picked it up from the pass interference penalties and the holding penalties he was getting early, and he started becoming shut down. So I think for me, it's either Anderson or Porter Jr. But if I had to go with somebody, it's going to be Porter Jr. I think Porter Jr. should win it.
And on the offensive side, of course, running mate, he drafted the same round as his defensive counterpart, C.J. Stroud for the Houston Texans, B. John Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons as the running back, Sam Laporta, tight end for the Lions, and of course Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, and then Puka Nacua for the Los Angeles Rams. This is a very all these did something exceptional, except for B. John Robinson. Honestly, I think B. John should not have been in this. He started out hot, but I think he kind of tailored off out. I think this is actually a race between Laporta, Gibbs, Puka, and Stroud. But in state, who do you think is deserving of the offensive rookie of the year?
I told you already, C.J. Stroud I'm still going with C.J. Stroud. I like what Puka Nacua did this year, but C.J. Stroud, that's him.
So what you said is Deron Bland is deserving because he broke regular season records, right?
Right.
Puka Nacua broke regular season records. Not C.J. Stroud. Puka Nacua broke regular season records.
I know, but
and playoff records, all as a rookie.
But C.J. Stroud won a playoff game. Puka Nacua stats didn't help them win a game. Not only that, Stroud had the better record in the regular season, and he missed games.
But playoffs don't count. So Puka, that should be clearly it should be Puka Nacua's in my opinion.
No, you brought up the playoffs. You said that he set a record in the playoffs.
I'm just saying, but true enough, you're right. I thought about it after I said it. So I just thought you were going to omit that.
Y'all see how he trying to do me?
Which I do when they do it. Fuck it. But yeah. So but like we say, going back, Puka Nacua did break the all-time wide receiver yards, and what else was it? Was it receptions and yards, I think, or receptions
for a rookie?
Yeah, he did do that. So on a team in which they wasn't checking for that. You know what I'm saying? That was no one knew who the hell Puka Nacua was before he started cooking, and then he went on continued to cook into where he set up and he made the most of his bones in the first couple of games because they had no choice but to throw to him. And then you gotta take in consideration that a couple of games Matt Stafford was out and Nacua wasn't getting that, and then of course Cooper Kupp came back and started splitting that with him, and then Steve Atwell started coming on. So, but yet Puka still did his thing. I think Puka now Sam Laporta, he wasn't shabby either. Like, let's be honest, Laporta and Gibbs is probably the reasons why we're about to see the Lions this weekend as opposed to seeing the Buccaneers or someone else.
I'm just gonna put it out there. CJ Stroud, but Houston was 3-14 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do they win 10 games or whatever they won without CJ Stroud on that roster? Do they go from worst to first in that division?
Possibly.
Without CJ Stroud? I mean, possibly. I don't even see it. I don't think it's possible. You know what I mean?
Because we had to take into consideration they brought in a different quarterback and a different offensive coordinator. And so we don't know what that could look like for Davis Mills or anyone else in which they got. But CJ Stroud is the person who would benefit it, and he's there, so he's going to be touted and looked at for the most part. He said they're going to give it to a quarterback. No, they're going to give it to Puka. Puka's going to walk away with it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave it to Stroud.
And then, of course, coaches of the year, when you look at it, you have DeMeco Ryans, Dan Campbell, Kyle Shanahan, yet again, John Harbaugh, and Stefanski for the Browns, all up for Rookie of the Years. Now, this is another hard one in my opinion. When you look at it, it's another hard one when I look at it. I'll be honest and say of the 5, I think the least deserving at this point is Kyle.
Least deserving?
Yeah, Kyle is the least deserving in this group. Least deserving, unfortunately. Last year he should have been rookie. He should have been coach of the year. But he's the least deserving in this group. When you got DeMeco Ryans as a rookie head coach, taking his team to winning the division and taking this. Well, they ain't win the division. They did. Yeah, winning the division and going to the playoffs in his first year with a rookie quarterback is good. Dan Campbell, last year, I think Dan Campbell should have had a good case for the coach of the year because he did what he did, but them being in the playoffs and winning the division this year was expected. He did what was expected at this point. So I think, he missed it last year is when it should have happened. Is when he should have got it.
Last year they didn't make the playoffs.
They did not make the true. They did not make the division. But his jump, what he did, So their jump, that's where I'm looking at. Like he was there. It was just a tech. He barely missed the playoffs last year, and their jump from where they were to where he was, just over that time, I think he was more deserving then, as opposed to honestly, he just barely over Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, of least deserving for the most part, because he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Like, hats off to him, what he has done to build up to where they are now. But that was what he was supposed to. So when it comes down to, in my opinion, is Stefanski and DeMeco, because John Harbaugh is only there because he had the best record in the NFL.
And the best defense.
And the best defense. Well,
and the MVP, and probably the MVP of the league. I'm just saying.
All second.
So that's good coach. That's good coaching.
But I think it has to go to even DeMeco or Stefanski. And maybe it's Stefanski's based on the fact that, like you said, he did it with 4 quarterbacks.
And without Nick Chubb. But I'm going to put it this way. Dan Campbell, That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say that. I don't think nobody had. I know nobody early in the season on no network had the Lions winning 12 games. Nobody had them doing what they did. So that's why I think Dan Campbell gonna win it hands down. And then and we gonna say that they're not gonna count the playoffs, but they're gonna count the first playoff win in 30 something years, or it's just winning that division first time in however many years that's been. 20 something years or whatever since Barry hung them up or whatever, 28 years, whatever it was since they won the division. I just think that Dan Campbell gonna win just because of those things, period. And not to mention, you see more sound bites for Dan Campbell than you do any of those coaches. I think Stefanski gonna come in second. And I'm not saying that he don't deserve to be up there because he do with what he did playing without Nick Chubb. A lot of the pieces that he was missing quarterback wise are still able to do what he did. But for me, it's the Lions, man. Dan Campbell did that because nobody had them winning 12 games the way that they did and playing as well as they played.
So maybe Ben Johnson could be the representative for a coaching award for the Detroit Lions, as he's up for the assistant coach of the year. Maybe he can get that award, but of course he's going to be against Cleveland's defensive coordinator in Schwartz. Excuse me, the Ravens' defensive coordinator Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, offensive coordinator for the aforementioned defensive Ravens, and then Bobby Slowick for the Texans. So maybe Ben Johnson gets that award, and then we can sit up and go on. So maybe Detroit walked away with the assistant coach of the award.
Well, he's Ben Johnson gonna win that award, but here's another thing that we didn't mention. One of them coaching jobs is his. One of them, so it's really only one coaching job open. Yeah, one of them jobs belong to Ben Johnson. I think that's why they waiting until he's done. He already interviewed with a bunch of squads, so I think one of them jobs, either Seattle or the Washington job, belong to that guy. I forgot about him, but yeah, I think the job belonged to him. One of those jobs.
We're gonna see. And then last but not least, the comeback player of the year award. Damar Hamlin, Tua Tagovailoa, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield. Who you think walks away? And Deshaun Watson. Who do you think walks away with it?
Flacco didn't get the final. Didn't get to be a finalist.
Yes, because he's one too. Yeah, he's one.
I had. For me, it's a toss up between Baker and Flacco, man. Baker and Flacco, man. You can't go wrong with either one of those. But if I had to choose, I would say. I know he ain't played a whole season, but I would have to go Flacco, man. I think that was impressive what he did. I mean, not that Baker wasn't impressive. I mean, like I say, it's tough. That one's tough, man. Like Baker but they're my two right there. So I'm gonna take Flacco with a slight edge over Baker.
I can agree with you. Flacco definitely like off of age and off the couch to come and to wield the team as the fourth option down the road that will take them to the playoffs. It's unfortunate for Deshaun Watson. I think he was looking like he was going to be the clear cut winner with a 5-1 record to that, but didn't. But I mean, it still could get awarded to him. Cleveland Browns with a lot. You know what I'm saying? In-state, when you look at it, it's a lot of nominees for the Browns, the Texans, the Cowboys, a couple for the Rams. So some teams of the Ravens. So some teams that are really swimming in it this year. Going back up to the,
I'm gonna put this out there. Other than DeRon Bland, I don't want to hear the Cowboys to the, you know what I'm saying? To like hit me back in July or sometime, man. Because
so Warner
Parsons overrated.
Parsons overrated. I was like, Warner didn't do enough to get the nod this year. That's all right. We're gonna take it out. So clearly,
y'all can't win all the time, man. Come on, man. Y'all can't have all the awards.
Why not?
Y'all try to Debo all the awards. You know what I'm saying? 49ers trying to Debo all the awards. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Debo, everyone's playing on the downfall, right? Everyone's playing on our downfall. Everyone's playing on our downfall. Debo Samuel is an intricate part of the offense. Without Debo, however, we are able to win. And I think what we saw is the evolution of Brock Purdy without Debo. We lost 3 games without Debo, or 2 games without Debo, one with him coming back and tried to get instituted back into it. And then, of course, it was just a thrashing by the Baltimore Ravens. In the 4th game, we lost. And then we didn't play none of them. In the 5th game, we lost a heartbreaker to what probably should have been, but we also a heartbreaker to the Rams at the end of the season that put us at 5-12 going in, but still the number 1 seed in the NFC. If y'all ain't been paying attention and listening, Debo Samuel is expected to potentially be able to play. Now, is this good? Should we let him sit out for the most part? If that's the case, I don't know. It's a game in which you probably want all your top players, but is it a game in which you can win without all your top players and ensure that you have them for the biggest game? In which one of the reasons why we didn't win, well, the only reason why we didn't win last year, in my opinion, is because we was without Brock Purdy. Just clear and cut. Besides that, I think we're going to be Super Bowl champions. But Debo potentially will be back. But for the sake of the conversation, can the 49ers win without Debo Samuel?
No, you're not going to win this game. Debo playing. And this is why Debo playing. We know Debo playing. If he can go 80%, 60%, he a decoy, man. The Lions. Do you see how good the Lions are playing right now? You're not beating that squad without everybody on deck. You need everybody on deck, or you're going to lose that game to a Jared Goff who knows your coach and played against y'all several times. You got to think about the experience of the quarterback on the other side of that ball. Like, he done beat you before, he can beat you again. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever underestimate that, Trey. And the other part of that is y'all ain't been that successful without Debo, so stop making that up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been about as successful without Debo as y'all have without Garoppolo. Not very good. You know what I'm saying? Not very good, especially in meaningful games. Debo is going to be huge for y'all, man. And you know it. So I get it. It's 9 a game for you. You got to downplay it a little bit and say we can win against anything. But how are you going to keep him for the Super Bowl? You might not even get there. You need him now. You need him in the NFC Championship game. All hands on deck. Let's go. Or it won't be no Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he can go right now and you sit him out, you choose not to play him, and y'all lose, that's a built-in excuse right there why y'all lost. So right now, no excuses. If you can get something out of him, put him out there. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. For real.
We can win without Debo. I think we can win without Debo.
What?
We can win without Debo.
An NFC Championship game without Debo.
NFC Championship game without Debo. We can win. So what we have here, right? Think about it. This is a perspective. Like I said, Debo Samuel Brock played without Debo Samuel. Like, Brock played without Debo Samuel, and he played in adverse conditions, and he was able to come out. He grinded it out and put himself in position, and he won the game for us. Now, what we could not do, we can't win without Debo and Christian being out, but we can get away without Debo being out. Unfortunately, what it does is if they do that, they're going to definitely, without a doubt, lock down Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk is that person, you know what I'm saying, to be double covered and be able to beat the coverage and stuff like that. But what I'm expecting is Jawan Jennings to be able to step up with a week of planning, right? Ray McLeod and Jawan Jennings looked a little shaky in that moment. But with a week of preparation, we're good. We're good.
Man,
With a week of preparation, they're
are you
good.
not? I'm saying, are you not watching the games? Did you not see what?
Hey, I did see.
So
That's
you
how I know.
expected?
Like
So
Dewan and Ray Ray was
basically,
horrible.
you expecting a defensive game against this Lions team, against Dan Campbell with the trick plays, pulling out all the stops. That's what you expected, boy. You kidding? Ain't gonna be no defense. This is gonna be a race to the finish, and we know that's coming. It's gonna be a race to the finish. You need to score points. You can't put up enough points without Debo. You cannot put up enough points and beat this Lion team without Debo Samuels. Like, period. I don't care how well Brock can manage a game here and there. You didn't need that last week against Green Bay because Jordan Love gave you the game in the end. You didn't need that. But now they finna pull out all of, man, come on, the Lions, they finna throw everything at you right now. Like, this is not this is an NFC Championship game. This is Dan Campbell's first time being there. These dudes, man, watch how I lose. You worried about the Lions secondary against me? I'm not worried.
No, I'm not worried about the wrong secondary.
You said they gonna lock Ayuk down.
Yeah,
they're not gonna lock Ayuk down. They ain't locking nothing down.
I'm saying lock Ayuk down from the aspect of they're going to double them because there's no Debo. So if they double Ayuk doesn't see double coverage for the most part, or when he did see it, you see we lost games. So they're going to do that. But what I think is going to be more of a preparation without Debo, where now Jennings and Ray McLeod are going to be more instituted. The only thing I'm worried about, honestly, when it comes to this game is the Lions offense, mainly because they are a two-headed monster. So that's going to be one of the worries. We just struggled. Like, Jones put up 103 yards rushing on us. One capable running back put up 100 plus yards on us. They have two capable running backs, although they have not put up 100 yards each. But it's not like it can't happen. You know what I'm saying? And it happened now. So it's like, Montgomery and Gibbs, I worry about, honestly. And then the other thing I worry about is when Hutchinson moves opposite of Trent is a problem. So if Charlo or anyone else isn't putting the clamps on Hutchinson, we're going to have problems because all they're going to do is because they're not going to just put any shabby ass person against Trent. It's going to be someone that could change the tide as well. So if they move Hutchinson for pursuit on the opposite side, like Hutchinson has been pulling down quarterbacks. He had 3 sacks against y'all. In the last game, I think he had 2 sacks the last game. Even if it was garbage sacks, they were sacks. So he done picked up some sacks in the last couple of weeks. He's a problem.
Oh yeah.
So if we don't get, the only thing that's going to free that up is if they're doing that and Christian is cooking. Now it's like, oh shit, how do we stop this dude? All right, load the box. Ayuk or Jennings, McLeod, and then not to mention, which is probably a cancel, Kittle and Laporta. So they have weapons, effective weapons. And so yes, true enough, I'm not worried about CJ Gardner. I think CJ Gardner talks himself into holes, and I'm not worried about him. So CJ Gardner, I'm not worried. Just like Snook said, am I worried about their defense? No, I'm not worried about the defense, but I'm worried about them. I mean, I'm not worried about their secondary, but I'm worried about them doing enough to put a clamp on Ayuk, who is our next best receiver, if Debo isn't there to go.
Well, I saw this. The Niners evidently think that Debo is real important because I saw the report. ESPN reported yesterday that Debo returned to practice yesterday and it gave them a boost. So the Niners were happy. Yay, our guy back. So it means more to your team. It's up here. So it may not mean nothing to you, but it means something to them if they saying that he didn't give him some juice and he didn't give him a boost by coming back to practice. So yeah, it means a lot to the 49ers. So we can downplay it, but it's gonna be huge. Debo, let's face it. Like I said, you ain't gonna be able to win an all-out race against the Lions without Debo Samuel because McCaffrey, even on his best day running the rock, that's 1 or 2 touchdowns. You're gonna need more than 2 touchdowns to win this game. Like, you're gonna need more than that. Like, let's face it, running the ball don't they lead to field goals. Running the ball leads to field goals. It leads to field goals. It don't lead to touchdowns. You're gonna need touchdowns. Debo is that weapon that, he touched the ball, he can run these dudes over. The Lions ain't the greatest tacklers in the world. You need that. You're gonna need the broken tackles that Debo provide for you. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game though. And as you can see, I'm picking the Lions. I think just because of that, I'm picking the Lions. 2 reasons I'm picking the Lions. One, I think it's gonna be the first time ever they making a Super Bowl ever. Like, that's history. That's, they got history on their side. That's dope right there. And the other part that I'm picking is I just don't. After watching Dan Campbell, I ain't a huge Dan Campbell fan, but I think he better than Shanahan when it comes to understanding what my team needs to do to win in these situations. Shanahan been here before, and he just ain't got it done. So I don't think he ever gonna get it done. I think Shanahan's he gonna forever be in his daddy's shadow. I don't think he ever gonna get it done. So I'm going heavily I'm picking the Lions game, and they gonna win the game. The score gonna be like 35-30. Or something like that.
So you said 2 reasons, right? You said 2 reasons. You said one is based off the fact of it sounds like the supercharge in which the Lions going to get from the tasting the possibility to be in the Super Bowl for a first time, right? With the Super Bowl quarterback in Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Reynolds and company, Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta. So this is putting them in position, right? And then you said you believe that Coach Campbell is going to be able to outcoach Coach Shanahan, right?
Exactly.
The same Shanahan that has been to 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams, and in their fifth or fourth NFC championship in 5 years. Dan Campbell is going to outcoach him. Okay, but what I did not hear you say, is that the Detroit Lions are even better than the 49ers. That's the only thing they're going to do there. They have to be better than the 49ers. The Detroit Lions are not better than the 49ers.
I have to out-coach you in a game like this. If my team executes, it's going to come down to execution of the plays that you call on that field in those moments. And Dan Campbell going to take the right chances at the right time and make them, especially offensively. He done showed you that. Like, how you think he got past Tampa? He shows you that I'm going to out-coach you when it comes to the main parts. And we seen Shanahan drop the ball, or else we would be talking about him. You said he been to 2 Super Bowls, he didn't win 1. We would be talking about him as a Super Bowl champion already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, we seen Shanahan drop the ball. We haven't seen Dan Campbell at this point, and so far he been showing you that, hey, he can outcoach the other guy on the sideline.
Well, technically, we know to the degree that the second Super Bowl in which he went to was not his fault. He executed. It's just like you just said. You said something key. Execution. You said execution. The plays were executed. However, the plays was executed. He dialed up the right things at the right time, but it wasn't executed properly by the players. I can presume that it might have been the same thing for the first one in which he lost, which was an utter complete debacle to where he lost it by 31 points, or it was a 24 point, or whatever the comeback was. And then he lost a 2-point lead. I mean, a 2-score lead in the next Super Bowl that he was in. And then he lost. And then so it's always a come from behind. So execution is going to be key. Even if the Detroit Lions was to execute their plays, unless they're going for the gusto time in, time again, you can execute your play as determined. It doesn't mean that you want to execute it to the W. It just means you execute your play.
Hence, that's why they go score 35 points. They going for it every time. That's why they go score 35 points. And that's an excellent point right there. That's the same thing he did in the Super Bowl. He stopped running. He did that last week and almost let Green Bay upset them because he stopped running the ball. This guy stops running the ball every time. That's why he cost y'all. He already cost y'all a Super Bowl. Stop running the ball. And go. That's coaching. See, that's coaching. That's coaching when you dial up a play that you don't even have to dial up instead of just winning the game. He had the game won. Get a first down, game over. You taking knees, game over in that Super Bowl. And he only needed like 3 yards. And you couldn't just you've been running them over. The Chiefs, you've been running them over all game long with a 3-headed monster running back. If that was Bill Belichick, he would have ran the ball right there and sealed that game. You didn't need that pass downfield. You needed to take knees. He went for it all. So that's a coaching problem. See what I'm saying? That's not execution on the field. That's coaching. You don't even call that play. You don't even put it. The great coaches, Bill Parcells, wouldn't even put it in Phil Simms' hands to do that. You don't even put it in your quarterback hands. Brady, you know what I'm saying? Belichick wouldn't have put it in Brady's hands to make that mistake right there. Pete Carroll would have, though, because we seen what he did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying, certain coaches, you cost yourself. And I don't think Dan Campbell gonna cost himself. Like, he gonna play to win. Shanahan has been proven to want to prove that he's better than the other coach, other than this is what I got. Let's win this game. Until he gets that mentality, y'all gonna lose.
So first we have you here. Cornelius coach is going with the Lions, and I'm going with the 49ers. It's me against the world, baby. It's me against the world. Already. Even my own brother, look at him. Detroit, the hate is real. But in the other game, Baltimore Ravens with another chance to go back against the Kansas City Chiefs with an opportunity to go back for what is Patrick Mahomes' 6th appearance in the NFC Championship game. 6 consecutive appearance in the NFC Championship game. So before we get to who, what, where, why, X, and O, is, in your opinion, Patrick Mahomes the second coming of Tom Brady?
I'm not going to even say he the second coming of Tom Brady until he get a couple of more rings under his belt. But I am going to say that he coming. like he coming, and you never seen anything like it. And it's like, you know what I like about it? You know what I like about the whole Patrick Mahomes thing?
What's that?
It erases a lot of different stuff that you heard historically in the league, and we know what America is, right? Remember when they were saying the black quarterback couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do whatever? You know what I'm saying? The African-American quarterback couldn't do this and all that different stuff, man. This young man is proving them that, hey, you know what? We can be multiple-time MVPs. That's what I like about what Lamar Jackson is doing, dispelling all those myths, everything that you heard before. We can win multiple Super Bowls. We can do this. You know, you can win a Super Bowl. You can win multiple Super Bowls. You know, all that different stuff. But he doing away with a whole lot of myths, and I love it. I can't even lie to you. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it because you get my age, it's a long time coming. So yeah, anytime I get to say Patrick Mahomes is coming, man, he the best right now, and that's really what you got to do, right? Be the best right now. Got a long way to go to catch Brady though, but he the best right now.
So with that being said, being the best right now, do they win the game this weekend?
Oh yeah, come on, man. I'm going Mahomes. I'm going Mahomes. And I think the score gonna be somewhere right around. I think they'll probably win something like 24-21 or something, man. Like Mahomes gonna lead a game-winning drive.
So what I'm hearing is Patrick Mahomes, with his bright spots in Kelsey and Pacheco and Rice, are going to overshadow the dull spots in a iffy Hilaire, Scantling, and Tony over a potent defense in Baltimore at home with a seemingly unfazed Lamar Jackson. That's what I'm hearing.
Man, look, the wild card is going to be Lamar Jackson, right? We all know that, but it's not going to be Lamar throwing the ball. Lamar ain't hurt nobody throwing the ball this year. In fact, you want him to throw the ball. I mean, I'm saying, did you not see Kansas City got a good defense? The only reason you didn't see it against Buffalo is because Josh Allen was running that rock. Josh Allen was running that rock early, making all the plays running that rock, right? As soon as he stopped running and became a passer, what happened? The Bills fell off. That's what's going to happen to Lamar Jackson. As soon as the Chiefs say, we're not going to let you run the ball no more, we're going to turn you into a passer, it's a wrap. It's over. It's a done deal. Trust me. Mark my words on that. Write it down. They got the better quarterback in that game. The Chiefs have the better quarterback in that game. This ain't regular season where you can turn a flip into the end zone and all that, Lamar. This is for real. And I'm telling you, the Chiefs defense is way better than people giving that defense credit for. And you're going to see it against, like I said, Lamar Jackson going to get off a little bit early because it's going to be bend but don't break. Same thing that you saw with Buffalo is the same thing you're about to see happen now, is that it's going to come down to the end of the game. And when they make Lamar Jackson a passer, it's going to be over. That's what they did to Josh Allen. In the end of that game, if Josh Allen would have kept running with the rock, they win that game. Buffalo, and no doubt in my mind, Buffalo wins that game. Sorry, man. Hopefully he ain't cut me off.
So, no, you still on. I can hear you. So, true enough, I got that, and I hear that. But, of course, now Mark Andrews is back. Like Isaiah Likely has been showing that he can be a problem in this league from the tight end spot. So and we all know Harbaugh to potentially be a tactician in senses, as well as we just heard the offensive and defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens is being sought after for assistants of the year, which means they put together schemes and stuff like that, unlike anyone else. You still believe that it's a good chance that a lackluster Kansas City Chiefs is going to be effective? Like we talked about before, a great quarterback can work with mediocre wide receivers. So it's true. That's proven. We got that. But is that great quarterback able to overcome a great defense with those mediocre wide receivers as well? I don't know if that's going to be the case. But I guess that goes on both sides of the spectrum.
I'm just saying, Mahomes is that dude, man. Until Lamar Jackson proves he that dude. And like I said, if you watch Lamar, he's still the same Lamar. When you make him hold the ball, he gonna run. He not gonna hold it. He gonna try to run. So like I said, as long as you keep him in the pocket, make him hold the ball, he's not that effective when he gotta hold the ball. Like, he don't read the field as well yet, man. Like, he's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But all this stuff about he's ultra, this guy, that guy, it's like he MVP this year in the regular season. I'm not taking nothing away from Lamar, but I think this is the postseason, and it's a separate game, and Patrick Mahomes is MVP of the postseason more often than not. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy more often than not. Love it or hate it, it's the truth.
Only thing, I'll be honest, only thing that I'm looking for is to get either one of them. It's payback. I don't care who get it. We're gonna take care of Detroit, and then we're gonna get whoever walks up. It's even payback for what y'all did to us during the regular season, or we're gonna be payback for Kansas City for what they did to us in Super Bowl in 2019. So someone gonna get it.
So question for you.
Yes.
Just a question. Do you think, I mean, what's going to happen? Well, no thinking, but what's going to happen to Kyle Shanahan after y'all lose this Sunday? Does he keep his job, or does John Lynch start looking elsewhere for a coach? If y'all don't get it done, if y'all lose in the NFC Championship game, what do you think is going to happen to your coach?
If we lose in the NFC Championship game, it's going to be a assessment of why we lost. So if we was without Debo and maybe someone went down, there's going to be assessment of why we lost. If it was just a loss in that because we were short of Debo Samuel and the execution wasn't there, then I'm very sure the next assessment was it as we talked before, was the game plan correct and the execution was on the players? In which you can't do anything about that in the real game because you done did all you can up until that point. Once the whistle's blown and it's time to go, then that becomes a difference. Now, if all that lines up and we're close and it just becomes that we're so close that there's fluster in making the correct calls, then I think his seat starts to heat up. But I don't think he's gone. But I think the seat heats up. Because at that point, who else is he going to look for? I mean, everyone, some of the best coaches in the league right now are from his tree. Like at that point, where else do you look? At this point, there's nowhere to look.
I think you look. I think you look somewhere else. I'm only saying that for the simple fact that maybe he's just a better offensive coordinator than he is. You know, I keep hearing this offensive mind, this, that, whatever. But when a guy ain't getting it done, I'm not saying he won't ever get it done in his career. But I'm saying maybe he just ain't the one to get the Niners there because he's had good teams. And if y'all fall short again with the quote unquote better team again, then y'all got to start looking at the coach. You can't keep blame. Hey, the players gonna be the players. You got to start looking at the coach. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. And that's another thing, like Nate was saying before we get out of here, man. The pressure is on the Niners. The Lions have no pressure. The pressure is on Shanahan to finally get it done, to finally win. You know what I mean? The pressure on Shanahan. The pressure is not on Dan Campbell.
I agree. I would say I agree with that. I can rock with that. So of course you heard it here first. Coach is going with the Lions and the Chiefs. I'm going with the 49ers, of course. And I don't care anyone. I wish we had a crack at both of them again. I wish we could go through both of them, but we can't. So I'm fine with whomever pull up to Las Vegas next month in 2.5 weeks. I'm fine with whoever pulls up there. We pulling up. I know that. It's not gonna be like I saw the meme talking about how Detroit Lions, how Jared Goff and boys is pulling up from that 8 Mile meme. Like, no, we don't believe in fairy tales, kid. This ain't 8 Mile. Mom spaghetti. That's exactly what it is. So Jared Goff better get ready. So I'm very sure. Matter of fact, Nate, come Monday morning, you need to be falling in front and center, receiving the report. Come Monday morning, everyone out there, if you're gonna say, "Oh yeah," hear this, those that to the sound of my voice, Monday morning when formation is on, I want to see all the naysayers. Tops, I know you out there. Fall in. Leslie, fall in. Nate, fall in. I'm very sure because let them lose. Let the 49ers lose. I bet everyone gonna be here on some Leslie Nielsen stuff, Airplane 2, ready to smack me for just walk down the line and smack me because it's like, how dare you thought that? So come Monday morning, when we start formation, I want all the naysayers here to pledge their allegiance to the San Francisco 49ers.
So in essence, that week 1 game, Lions and Chiefs, was a Super Bowl preview. Let that sink in. That was a Super Bowl. Hindsight is 2020. That's a Super Bowl preview. But like
that's NFL script writers.
I'm just gonna put it out there. 49ers, man, good luck. Good luck, but I'm taking the Lions, but good luck. I mean, I can't have the 49ers winning the 6th Super Bowl before my team gets there, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? My team got to get in the fight. At least you in the fight. We ain't even in the fight. So,
we all had the same opportunity at the beginning of the year.
I mean, right? We all had the same opportunity.
Same opportunity at the beginning of the year. Now 4 teams remain. to where it's going to be down to 2 teams with that opportunity. What Donovan say? Donovan,
Lions
you
going
pull
to
up
their
too.
first Super Bowl.
You ain't even got to worry, but Donovan, you ain't even got to worry about the fact that you probably don't know how to fall in. We can teach you. You pull up too.
Lions first Super Bowl ever, man. They go into their first Super Bowl, which is pretty cool. We need those firsts in the game. We need that.
Bang bang is all I'm gonna say. Be sure to pull up on Monday morning. We right here. He said fur coats on in Vegas. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Be sure to pull up back here Monday morning. We tapping in, falling in, and even one. I will apologize to everybody for blasphemy, or I just want y'all to come on and say, "Bang bang."
What,
Greatly appreciate it. Go ahead.
What's that old Biggie? Something about my Gators for my Detroit players. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Yeah.
We wear sweatsuit, khakis, and Crocker sacks. Come Monday morning, baby.
All right, E40. All right.
So gonna say, be sure to tap in, like I said, Monday morning, so we can sit up and talk about it. Until then, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. That cold front is gone. Opportunity. I know there's the NBA has a satellite game. I'm very sure there's other places, but I know for the fact that CUSMLBL is having a game on Fort Cavazos, Fort Johnson, Cavazos, JBSA, Sam Houston is all going to be there. So if you're in or around the Fort Cavazos area, be sure to pull up and catch some of those games. Check them out and catch a vibe of the NBA. As you ain't seen it already, the military basketball, the national military basketball tournament has already put their flyer out where it's looking for those 16. You know, there's only 16 teams there that's going down. So you gotta be under the umbrella so you don't catch a brick, in the words of Dame Dash. So be sure to be there, be present, of course, like that. And then we got a special something coming up for y'all next Friday morning, as we're going to have a couple of people on as we get back into a little more military basketball talk, a little more to be covered, I guess, on Monday. I'll talk about it so I can make sure we have it all fine too. But we're going to have a little something for y'all on come Friday. So be sure to tap in. But anything, be here Monday morning. In any case, Coach, any last words before we go?
Man, y'all have a good one, and I get more details. But I got that book dropping, Moments of Intimacy, My Chicago Love. Try my hand at the adult fiction on the Amazon platform starting next Wednesday. Everything has been finalized, so it's coming.
So, of course, you know what I'm saying, be sure to catch that out. Be sure to check that out. Hit his man up, try the book, listen, hear it out, review, talking you can. And of course, last but not least, shout out to my M-Glow brother, military, my frat, of course, brother Cypher, as is his birthday today. Shout out frat, you know what I'm saying? Happy birthday. Enjoy y'all's day. It was a roll 5 for me. Y'all